Hi friends, this is Danielle from Brushes and Vino. Today we're going to be learning how to do a specific painting from our gallery called HB Pier. I believe that stands for Huntington Beach. Let me show you the finished product. So essentially this is what we're going to have at the end of it. Of course every painting looks just a little bit different, but I am going to give you step-by-step guidance on how to complete this particular scene and allow you to take the time to make variations as you like or follow along to the letter. Entirely your choice. Let's get started. So, the first thing you're going to need is paint. I recommend using the three primary colors, blue, red, and yellow, and then just a little bit of white and a little bit of black. Always use black sparingly until you absolutely have to use it because it does tend to overpower another color. And again, I'll teach you how to go through all of this very easy, doable way. Should be fun. You are also going to need a set of 5 paintbrushes. So these are the guys we're going to be using today. I'm going to have a nice big bristly brush. This is a 1-inch brush. I just call them bristly. And you're going to have this nice flat and angled brush. I don't know if you can see the difference, but it has a nice angle on it, just there. A small flat brush, this one I believe is a number 16 flat brush, not that the numbers are important, and then a small round brush for detail work. You will also want to have on hand a small cup of water and a rag. This is the most invaluable tool in your artistic arsenal. All right, let's dive right in. So, I think the first thing we want to lay out today is some sky. So, take that big bristle brush, get it wet, and what I like to do is, I don't like it soaking wet, so once I wet it, I sort of squeegee it off on the inside of my cup so that it's wet to the touch, but it's not dripping. If you have too much water on your brush, then the paint's going to drip, which obviously we don't want. So let's begin. You can dive right in and just go straight into that blue without bothering to add anything to it at this point. We're going to put it, I'd say, on the top 1/5 of the canvas. Here we go. And what you want here are nice, long, horizontal strokes. Don't be afraid to make big, bold moves. Use your entire arm, moving from the shoulder, that's what that is, all the way across. Nice, big, long, confident strokes. Over there. And sort of drag it down. Drag it back up. You can just really go to town. Drag that paint around until it feels like it looks nice to you. Don't worry about reloading the brush because we're going to end up mixing this, so it's okay to just let it dry as it drags on down like that. There we go. Adjust this just a little bit. I think I've got a bit of a glare. Here we go. I'm going to do the same thing a little bit lower. Now we're just adding base color, so it's not a big deal if you're super precise right now. So add a little bit more blue to that brush, and we're going to drop down to the lower part of the canvas. So right about here, start in the center, sort of work your way out. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nothing has to be perfect. I like to take a very like Bob Ross feel when I'm painting. No mistakes, just happy accidents. So come all the way across up top and sort of make your way down. A little bit more paint. There we go. Drag it out. Now let it lose paint as you get toward the edges of the area. We're going to come over this in just a few minutes. And we want it to be a nice light layer. And we come back, add a little bit more definition up top. Yeah, I'm liking that. So from there, go ahead and clean off your brush. Always important to clean off your brush. And give it a nice good, oh, pro tip, always hold your cup when you're mixing your brush into your water to clean it. I've seen them knocked over so many times. Okay, wipe that guy off. Maybe give it a little dab on your rag. Now we're gonna give this just a few minutes to dry, so we'll be right back. Welcome back. Should have given our paint a little bit of time to dry. Ideally, you want to be able to swipe your finger lightly across the canvas and have no paint come up. If you didn't take that much time, not a big deal. I personally used the time to make myself a cup of coffee because I'm stuck at home just like you, and a little bit too early for my beer. You know what? I'm fine with this. This is delicious. All right, let's get back to it. So, now that we've got our blue laid out, we want to lay in our sandbar, our nice sandy beach. Now, the yellow that we have is maybe a little bit too bright for that, so what we're going to do is mix it into a warmer, almost orange, not quite there. We're going to call it like a golden yellow. So, here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to take a brush. In this case, I'm going to use my angled brush since I'm not going to need it for a while. And I like to parse things out in a very scientific way, by scoops. So I am going to take a pretty solid scoop of yellow, maybe a good scoop. I'm going to put it in this empty well in my palette. And then because I know I want a lot, I'm going to do a second scoop. So you want like a nice big glob of yellow paint in there. Now, it's not great practice to mix the colors on your brush and contaminate the original well, so I'm going to put this one in the water. Then I'm going to get my big flat brush, which is what I'll actually be using to paint this. I'm going to get it just a little bit wet. Dab it off. This is where I like to test it. Yeah, so it's wet, it's not dripping. And then I'm going to take just a little tiny bit of red, maybe just like the edge of my brush, not a whole lot. I'm going to mix it right into this yellow here. And you can mix using whatever method you like. I just sort of tap at it and mix, kind of like I'm making cake batter. It's a similar consistency. So once I have this really lovely, sort of pale orangey, sort of peachy, I think I might maybe want to add just a little bit more yellow to that. So I'll go back, grab my other mixing brush, get a little bit more yellow out of there, and drop it in my mixture. Oh! My cat Major has decided he wants to paint with us today. As long as he stays back there, I'm sure it'll be fine. So now that I've got more yellow, I'm going to continue to mix this, lighten my mixture up just a little bit until I have a nice, warm, sandy color. Yeah, I like that. I like where that's going. So then I'm going to load my brush up. Again, this is my flat brush. I like to call it my number 2 since it's the second largest in my arsenal and numbers are easy. And we're going to start again by just covering this whole bottom area in this nice, lovely yellow, orangey yellow. Now, this one doesn't have to be horizontal strokes, but you do whatever is easiest for you. And I worked out really hard this morning, so this is an easy motion for me right now. All right, I'm gonna just drag that across. Now it doesn't have to be perfectly smooth, it's sand, so sand is naturally going to have some texture as part of it. Just really drag that out. Yeah, lovely. Don't be shy. You toss it all on there. You could use the big bristle brush for this, but the bristles on these smaller brushes are more compact and give you a smoother finish, and I prefer that. This is actually the brush that I use the most. I'm very lazy. Alright, so we're going to bring it all the way up to the water's edge, and probably a little bit beyond. We're going to blend it in just a little. There we go. Bring this right up here. Really drag that paint up. Right to the edge of the water. we go. So I'm really happy with that. I think it's a nice base for the layers of sand that we'll make. Hi, kitty. A lot of painting is about layering, so we want to make sure that we have a nice foundation to build on later. So go ahead and rinse off your brush. Might as well rinse off that aligned angle. I can speak. Might as well rinse off that angled brush as well. Give it a good wipe on your rag. Set it aside. We're going to continue to live in the land of orange. Oh, you know what? I lied. First, we want to make a sun. I know, so exciting. Okay, so clean off that big flat. Again, just want it a little bit wet, maybe a little wetter than this. I'm a little too thorough. There we go. And we're gonna add a sun, I'd say right about here. So we'll dip right back into that pure yellow that we pulled from earlier. You don't need a ton of paint here just yet. Just sort of take the edge, and here is a way that your brush can do the work for you. So if we hold it so that the flat edge is what touches the canvas, so like this rather than like this, and it's hard to see on the camera, bear with me. We're going to take it and we're going to plant the tip of the brush on the edge of the horizon, and then we're just going to make a little arc. I'll show you. So find where you want to put your sun. I'm going to go with right about here. Plant your brush, and then keeping the bristles flat, make a nice arc. Your sun can be as big or as small as you want. Once you've got it there, yep, let me repeat that one more time. Make a nice big arc, and then go ahead and fill that in. Don't be alarmed if you've got a little bit of blue under there and it sort of picks up the green, that's fine. As we layer, it'll get more opaque and it will hide our earlier transgressions. All right, so we'll leave the sun there. Beautiful. Now we want to give that a little bit of time to dry. So we are going to jump back to the water and continue our work there. A lot of hopping around in this particular painting. Okay, so we will rinse off that brush. Don't forget to hold your cup. Dry it off just a little bit. Now I think we want to make a lighter blue. We want to sort of highlight this area. So once again with our angled brush, I'm going to take just a little bit of the white this time, and I am going to bring it right into this empty well. You don't need a ton of it, so I'd say maybe 1 scoop of white. Pop that right in there. Let that rest. Go back to your big old boy. Take just a bit of your blue. Again, about 1 scoop, and then you can mix it in here. It's going to give us a nice light blue. And it's okay if it's a bit striated, if you can still see lines of darker blue or of white mixed in, that's okay. So you can load that guy up. We're going to come right toward the center. And the idea is that it's shallower here, so the light appears to be a little bit lighter, or the water appears to be a little bit lighter. So here we go. We come in, I'm going to start right at the center, and I'm going to lightly start brushing this. I don't need to cover the whole area because we're going to continue to mix. We're going to add a little bit of life to this, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Yeah, just like that works. Just like a nice little bit. Now, here's something fun. The ocean isn't pure blue, right? And we do want to differentiate it a bit from the sky. So go ahead and take that nice clean angle brush. Get just a little bit of yellow. So if I'm using this angled brush, I'm going to put just a little bit of yellow just on the tip there. And I want to mix that right in with my blue. Light blue. It's going to give it just a little bit of a seafoam green color instead of pure blue. can add a little bit more white to it if you need to. Just sort of tap that together. It's going to give you a really pleasant blue-green mixture. It's really lovely. There we go. Put your mixing brush aside. Take that big boy. Load some more of this nice greenish, it's hard to see on the camera, but it should be like a minty seafoam green, or whatever you feel like doing. It doesn't have to be. And we're going to go back over this and sort of fill in spots. I'm going to fill in spots around the canvas. You don't want to totally cover the light blue that you laid down. You do want to sort of blend it. Now the paint is still wet, so it's going to blend pretty nicely. It'll do a lot of that work for you. Just give you this nice sheen of seafoam along the top. It's really lovely.